Ladies and gentlemen, the Michael Oldroyd Comedy Podcast is brought to you by Droid Entertainment. It is an independently produced show, and if you enjoy it, please subscribe. Feel free to write a review of the podcast on whatever platform you use to ingest podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Blueberry,
Spotify,
whatever it is. And if you've done all of these things and you still want to help, then go ahead and just send me some nudes, all right?
Send me money, send me nudes. Don't be a Jew, don't be a prude. Send me money, send me nudes. Don't be a Jew, don't be a prude.
Yeah, I'm actually part Jewish. Now, enjoy today's episode.
As hilarious as that music may sound, it is not how I want to kick off my podcast.
Welcome to the Michael Oldroyd Comedy Podcast. It's going to be so much fun where he makes humor of himself and the many things in New York City. Oh, and by the way, this is not the voice of Bruno.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Michael Oldroyd Comedy Podcast. This is episode 247, ladies and gentlemen, 247. It's Monday, March 2nd, 2026, 9:09 p.m. Central here in Frontenac, Missouri at the Lifetime Fitness in the Board of Directors room, ladies and gentlemen, huh? And only I am in here. So CEO Dildo Realm is a reference to one of my jokes. If you know, you know. If you don't, over time, you'll get the reference. Either because I explain the joke, which is never fun, or you just look my comedy up and you find a joke about rearranging the letters of my name in the archives. Somewhere in the archives. Somewhere in the fucking archives. Speaking of archives, we're going to have to talk about something in God's archives, which everything's in God's archives. But we're gonna get to the NFL Combine later when we talk about what's going on in the world. If I even remember, because I don't have a note. If I had a fucking assistant right now, I'd say take note and remind me to talk about the archives. But guess what? I don't. I know that we have AI note takers, but I don't have that going on right now, which I should. Note to self. Anyway, it is a new month in a new year. We're not quite to spring yet, but we're getting glimpses of it. You know, springtime is shaking that ass for us, and it's just showing us the thong and then disappearing around the corner. It's teasing us. It's teasing us, ladies and gents. We'll get a couple nice days here. I think we had a day above 70 here in St. Louis the other day, and what a fucking cock tease. What a. It's not a cock tease, but it's a tease. It's a tease. It's a tease, like, I think Cisco knows what I'm talking about when it comes to the tease. The man, the myth, the legend who created the thong song. I don't even know if he wrote the song, but she's got drums like a truck. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to say up top before we talk about what's going on in the world is something that is going on in the world, ironically. It is, gosh dang, we're at 89 countries now that have downloaded an episode or episodes of the Michael Oldroyd Comedy Podcast. So I wanted to give you guys a shout out. I don't think any of you at this point are listening to my podcast in order to like do me a favor, because I don't really ask people to listen to my podcast anymore, at least. I'm sure I remember doing that with friends at one point to get feedback early. But now nobody, everyone's got their lives, and also who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, who gives a flying fuck at this point? I'm off to the races, and this is just me. Take it or leave it. Appreciate 89 countries for taking it. Appreciate you for that, for sure. Again, so let's put it this way. I don't think anyone's listening it to, like, do me a favor, but they're doing it because they're curious or they want to, or because they hate me. I don't know. But either way, and they want to see what I'm up to. But either way, I am thankful for it, if that makes sense. I'm thankful for the fact that 89 countries have tuned in, and the podcast continues to grow, even though I haven't done an episode in a while. And that's really exciting to see the downloads come through, even when I'm loafing. It's like having money invested in the market. Once you get to a certain point, you make money even if you're just jerking off and sleeping all day. Let's not, let's not, let's not claim whether I do or do not do that, because that would be douchey. But the idea came from somewhere, you know what I mean? No, okay. Apologies for taking so a while to get back to you guys on this podcast. Definitely just about skipped the month of February. I did do one episode in early February, if my memory is correct, and I'm jazzed about that we were able to accomplish something in the month of February together here on the Michael Oldroyd Comedy Podcast. And I did want to say one last thing before we launch into our first segment, launch, no pun intended, when it comes to what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? But I did want to just say that I am recording the video to this. I'm recording the video for my gosh dang fucking, YouTube channel. I'm doing it because I realized I can get my watched hours up by putting video of my podcast. So hence me being in a nice fucking aesthetic board of directors room. I don't know if I'm being recorded by someone else in here, but I am recording myself. And I feel like a fucking boss. Even though I'm choosing not to sit at the head of the table right now, I still feel I am the boss. And frankly, I choose to fucking not sit at the head of the table because I'm humble, guys. Because I'm humble. So follow me. Check out the YouTube channel. It's kind of tricky to get there. If you type in Michael Oldroyd, a couple of YouTube channels will come up, but it's the one with my caricature and like the yellow and orange background, with my black and white caricature, which is the cartoon of me when I was in college with a backwards flat bill or flat William. Flat bill 5950 is the brand, ladies and gents, just for those that know about the swag. But yeah, so that's a little bit up top for you guys. Appreciate you for tuning in or tuning back in, whether you're taking a shit or driving to work, or maybe you're just fucking listening to me while you're at work and you're actually not getting work done. Either way, I'm jazzed that you're tuning in. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's talk about what the heaven or what the hell or what the Middle Earth is going on in the world right now. Let's go. Let's talk. Let's do this.
What? Oh my gosh, this is exciting. What? I was wondering if you happen to know what is going on in the world. What is going on in the world? What is going on in the world? What is going on in the world? What?
Guys, so obviously you cannot talk about what's going on in the world without talking about the elephant in the room. No pun intended, because elephant is the symbol for the Republican Party. And what happened over the last 72 hours is top world news. The United States and Israel have teamed up and striked upon Iran. And we have taken out the leader along with several top officials. That is the intel I've gathered. And, there's debate regardless of what side you're on. Let me just say, most of you guys who know me very well or you just listen to this podcast a lot, you kind of know where I lean politically. But I think it's very, very important to remain as unbiased as I can be and to call things positive when they're positive without sugarcoating it or letting my bias get in the way. And then same from the other side. And what I do want to say first and foremost is I want to give recognition to our service members who put their lives on the line for us and to serve our country. We did lose some service members in this initiative. and it seems like the mission was completed as far as the goal, which is taking out the top dogs there, running the show through Iran and from Iran, if I'm pronouncing it right. I have a lot of thoughts on this, but what I do want to say right off the bat is this is the head of the snake, or one of the heads of the snakes, to my knowledge. Iran has been funding terrorist activities, and they've been kind of at the root of this fucking evil fucking shit going on for a long time. Whether or not, we can get into the politics on, whether or not it was necessary or the time or how it was conducted. I could get into the weeds of that and find points and counterpoints all day. But even though I'm not a fan of killing ever, there is something to be said about getting rid of the head of the snake. Will there be, more heads of the snake that brew from this? Maybe, probably, I don't know. They say live by the sword, die by the sword. But either way, I can't help but feel some relief that the leader of the terrorist activities and some of his guys are removed. I separate the difference between the leaders and innocent and free people, or just innocent people in general, regardless of where they live, whether they're free or not, because I believe in freedom. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is the people in Iran they're civilians that are just innocent, that are bystanders to the just, I guess they call it a casualty of war. People that are innocent that are getting harmed, that absolutely sucks ass. Losing service members of ours, that sucks ass. And those are things to be thought of and empathized for and with. But I gotta say, there's a part of me that's feels a sense of relief and almost there's a little bit of respect that I feel in the decisiveness of Trump for taking this action. Did he do it unlawfully? That part is up for debate. I don't know the political ins and outs well enough about the Constitution's laws. I know that they said Congress or the legislative branches of our government has to sign off on actual war. So I don't know where the line from war carries over or whatever to say whether or not this was lawful. But I do think that going in, grabbing the bull by the horns and just fucking taking him out, if that is true, that's like going into a nightclub and just getting going straight into the back where the dude who runs the whole thing is, and just grabbing him by the throat, taking his hair. It's a badass move, is what I'm trying to say. All right, it's a badass fucking move. Our service members kick ass and kicked ass. I don't know what's going to happen. They're talking about, empowering the people of Iran to take over. And that part to me is concerning, because I don't know how you can just, say that to several million people with no plan on either end to establish a new deal there as far as like who's going to run shit. So we could talk about the X's and the O's, but we got rid of what I believe seems like the head of the snake. And you guys know me very well, that I have spoken about a lot of things that I have disagreed with on Trump and his style and his past and all these things. So, I'm not saying this makes up for all of that, but this is a separate deal. And this from what I can see thus far, and the dust is going to settle on it, it seems like we removed the root, or part of the root of evil that threatens us. So that's my initial reaction without knowing everything. And I can tell you, like, a few days prior to that, I was disgusted by his State of the Union speech. And I've seen all kinds of stuff online about how, 15 years ago in 2013 and stuff, he was 2013, I think specifically, where he was saying that, the other side of the administration, Obama at the time, his numbers were so low that he probably will, strike on Iran to, blah, blah, blah. So it's funny, like, you could see that and say, oh, there's hypocrisy, which was my first impulse when I started to see those things. But anyway, I do appreciate our service members, and I do appreciate that we removed what appears to be the head of the snake. I don't know if we got the full head or all the heads of the snake. I mean, it seems like we got the full head of the snake in Iran. They're not the only axis of evil to use that term inappropriately. And honestly, this stuff is over my head. I am not debriefed on classified information to be able to speak fully informed on these types of things. But I will give credit where I think credit is due, even if I'm not fully informed. And I'll admit that. Damn it, I'll admit that I don't know everything. All right, is that fair? Did we do a good job there of keeping it, unbiased as possible? Did we do a good job? Huh? Did we do a good job? Okay. What if I just stood up right now and there's just a bedpan that I've been sitting on while recording this podcast? Anyway, that's more of a visual for the people tuning in right now, which is an incentive for you motherfuckers to tune into my YouTube channel, okay? Type in Michael Oldroyd. I think it might be the Michael Oldroyd, one word. That might be like, I think you can like choose your handle. And I don't even know that for sure because I forgot, all right? Sorry that I played football for 14 years and I don't remember everything. And I outsource my memory to things like AI. No, I guess kind of, because I do document things digitally, so hopefully nobody hacks my pen safe, which is a Harry Potter term, and mixing, cybersecurity with Dumbledore's memory analogy. Okay, anyway, I think we talked a little bit about politics up top. Let's talk about the NFL Combine before I forget, since I didn't take note of that. So we just had the NFL Combine. One of my cousins works for the NFL on the administrative side, I think. Anyway, he sends us pictures, and he's always down on the field, like right next to Travis Kelce when he's coming out of the tunnel and stuff. And he was at the Combine these last couple of days, which reminded me about one of my biggest flexes, which I'm going to be talking about. So the NFL Combine happened. I don't even know what city it was over the last few days. Hey, while we're over there in Iran, doing strikes, I'm over here thinking about the NFL Combine and how my numbers stack up from my prime, from my heyday. Humble brag, but I'm just going to say this. Michael Oldroyd's personal bests, which were documented by the Missouri athletic staff, aka football coaches and strength coaches at Mizzou, that documented it and timed me, by the way. So this is not my friend timing me. My numbers would have led the agility tests or the agility performance evaluations. There's two agility performance evaluations that they do at the Combine every year. One is a 3-cone test, and one is known as the shuttle run, or some know it as the eye test. For those of you that know, and you can fact check me on this, my best 3-cone time is 6.61 seconds, and that would have put me in first place at this year's Combine. And my best shuttle run, or my eye test, my best time was 3.98 seconds, and that would have put me in first place. So just so all the bitches can drop panties retroactively for my younger self that didn't get to play in the NFL because I got hurt not long after that. But the sky was the limit. The sky was the potential. And Coach Pinkel knew it, darn it. He knew it. We had a meeting in a room just like this where I was sitting across from him, and he said, "Do you see what I'm seeing?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, This is your chance this spring. We had 4 receivers graduate, and do you see what I see?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, if there's going to be a chance, now's the time. I said, "Yes, sir." And I got hurt on the second day of spring football. That first day I was making diving catches. I remember one coach's eyes popping out of his head. He was like 1 foot away from this diving catch I made on the sideline. And he was always a dick to me in the beginning, but man, he was impressed that fucking day. You know, I'm not going to sit here and talk too long about football, but because that's pretty much all there is to say. The flex ladies don't give a fuck because I didn't play to the NFL, and thus I didn't, walk away fully set for life, only partially set for life from my healthcare IT career. But I would be fully set for life right now if I had if things happened the way I believed they would in my head had I not got hurt. But God's plan, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So I can't claim anything other than the facts of what had happened, which is that I would have led the NFL. They do 6 performance evaluations at the NFL Combine, to my knowledge. So 2 out of the 6, I would have been leading. And I didn't look at the other tests. To be fair, my 40 was okay. It was a 4.6. They got guys running a lot faster than that. Whatever, 4.6 is as fast as Jerry Rice and Keyshawn Johnson now, and it was fully automatic timing, so that's something, right? Anyway, that is that, and how about we change topics to something? How's this for a transition? It's the year of the horse. Hey, it's the lunar year of the horse. Who gives a fuck? Let's talk more about football. Okay, let's go backwards. All right. It's the year of the horse, which means the year of the big cock, which means, if you've been watching The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, you know that fucking, Dunk's, the guy that trained Dunk, the older man, when they made that episode 2 of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, where the old man walks out, takes a piss, and he's got a 14-inch cock or whatever it was. He looked like he was hung like a horse. So that kind of lines up with the year of the horse. Also, black dudes have big dicks, and we just had Black History Month. So I hope you guys enjoyed your Black History Month. That's something to think about there, guys. There's a tie-in. And not all black dudes have big dicks, which I think I don't think that people realize that stereotypes, even when well-intentioned and oftentimes true, can still have a negative backlash. Because for the black dudes that don't have big dicks, just think about the pressure that we're putting on their shoulders. So I'm going to start a march. The small black dicks unite, stand together and fight. And I can do that because I have a small black dick. Actually, it's only small and black when it's flaccid because I'm a grower. But that's a whole different thing. Anywho, all right, that was a lot. All right, we did a little Black History Month there, an homage. We'll talk about football. There are a lot of Black history in American football that runs very deep. And anyway, Jesse Jackson, he passed away at age 84. Big civil rights politics fella, and just wanted to give him a shout out. Jesse Jackson, he just seems like someone that we need to reflect on and appreciate his life and his dedication. I know I'm flipping around here a little bit, but I did want to talk about how football. Well, let's just finish talking about football because it is black. We just finished Black History Month, and a lot of my teammates were black, and I thought there's so much to the core of America in American football. It's the ultimate American sport. It's the ultimate capitalistic sport. And we just had the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys... So what football really means to me, I don't really care about the Super Bowl anymore because I'm not playing and I don't have a son who plays football. My cousin, who I saw in January, I think I talked about it on my podcast, I saw 2 of my cousins play flag football. So I have a connection in that way, and in that way I do care. And I do care that one of my cousins who works for the NFL is intertwined, and I do have, some people in my network that work with the NFL still. and for that, I think it's cool. My buddy Matt Hamilton, who's been on this podcast, I think he was he at the Super Bowl? I don't know. But anyway, he was one of the producers of Good Morning Football, and he got me on to set there, and I got to meet Nate Burleson that one time. You guys have seen the post maybe on my Instagram of me, Nate, and Matt with a picture together. And, Nate and I talked about, we were both wide receivers. I asked him if he still works out, etc. So we had a good little thing. He followed me for a while on Instagram, and then he unfollowed me. It's like, dude, come on, Come on, Nate. Jeez, bruh, Anyway, he was nice in person when I met him. Come on, did you have to unfollow me, bro? I didn't ask him to follow me. And, whatever, hey, whatever. I would appreciate that he didn't follow me, but you know what? I can't hold a grudge, right? I don't follow everyone back, and for those of you who I don't follow back, I apologize if it hurts your feelings. It's a tough thing, the fucking ratio shit. I don't know. It would be weird if I fucking have 5,000 followers and I follow 5,000 people back. I don't know everyone who follows me, and I'm thankful for the follows very much. In fact, please follow me if you don't already at The Droid on Instagram or any other platform. I do have an account that I try to follow some people back on when I have time to remember. But if you really want that, if you want to improve your ratio, I'll follow you back from my private account at least. Just send me a DM and I'll do that because I do care and I want you to at least get the 1-for-1 ratio so I'm not a douchebag, and I don't want anyone to feel bad the way I felt bad after Nate Burleson unfollowed me. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be the change I want to see in this world. Anyway, back to Black History Month and the Super Bowl. This is the core. Okay, getting serious for a second. My teammates who I played football with over the years, no matter what color of skin, no matter where they came from, whether they came from money, lack of money, the bond that you form with your teammates, it's the closest thing to going to war that I've ever experienced, alongside, being with business partners and going into business and having a lot on the line. But you form a bond where these guys are your brothers, right? And when I watch football now, I really don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck whether the Seahawks win, whether the Patriots win. All I gave a fuck, I didn't want to see the Rams win because their owner can go get fucking fucked up the ass by a bunch of dudes in Hollywood. And I mean that metaphorically. Nothing against gay guys. I don't like the owner because of him screwing St. Louis. So I hope he gets screwed, I guess metaphorically or whatever. Apparently he has like multiple sports teams he owns. It's like, what the fuck? What do you need multiple sports teams for? Anyway, I don't like the owner of the Rams. I don't like the way St. Louis was did dirty. And they say we got some of the money in the settlement, but somebody still needs to fix all the fucking potholes downtown. Until the potholes are fixed in downtown St. Louis, then fuck Kroenke, all right? Kroenke, send us some money to fix the fucking potholes, and if you've already given us money, then send additional money that can only be used to fix the fucking potholes. At that point, then I'll root for you again, okay? All right. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is I think that racism would be much more eradicated if more people got out of what I got out of football through teamwork and the bonds that are formed with your brothers, where there's a shared common goal and you have to go through hard work, risks, putting your ass on the line, dedication, all these things where you form a bond that truly gets to the soul. It gets to the soul. It's beyond skin deep. It's beyond anything that's superficial. It gets to the soul. And I'm so thankful to have had comrades like that, to know what it feels like to have brothers that are ready to go to war with you and for you, and you've got their back as well. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that's what I take away from football most of everything. And there's something deep there that I believe eradicates things like racism and hate and ignorance and prejudice and judging people based on how much money they do or don't have. So, yeah, I didn't really give a fuck about the Super Bowl, honestly. I was more interested in Bad Bunny and Trump's ongoing beef with Bad Bunny and how these fucking buffoons in the Republican Party were looking into and wanting an investigation on how they vetted the halftime talent. They made it a political thing. It was so ridiculous. And just it was a clown show how Trump got his panties in the bunch because Bad Bunny and oh yeah, love is love, guys, and that is true, and that's fucking awesome. So I liked that. I like Bad Bunny. I like his music. And Puerto Rico is part of the United States, you fucking dumb motherfuckers. Puerto Rico is part of the United States. So I don't know, man. Anyway, yeah, I think I made my point about football. I really don't. It's not even football. It's like I said. It's when you have to go through something, a shared experience. I'm sure that service members may feel the same about people that they are. When you're relying and you're in the foxhole with someone that's do or die, whether it's in business, in sports, in anything. That's what brings people closer together. That creates unity. That doesn't create polarity and division. It creates unity. And I think if we had more of that going on, I think that we would fucking overcome this cancer of hate and racism and prejudice. And I think that that's my little stamp of the mark I want to say about Black History Month. So yeah, that's what I want to say. And I feel like that's deep and it's kind of hard to change subjects. So where do you go from there? I don't know. We could talk about how it was President's Day the other day, and I thought about Kanye West, and I wondered, do you think he'll run in 2028? Anyway, I don't know how to transition out of that. But it is the year of the horse. Mercury is in retrograde right now. I don't know if you guys know, but one of my friends is I know more than one former stripper, but one of my newer friends was a stripper at Spearmint Rhinoceros or Spearmint Rhino in Vegas, and then apparently Peppermint Hippo. So she said Peppermint Hippo, and I started laughing. I thought she was like making a joke about Spearmint Rhino. I had never heard of Peppermint Hippo, but apparently the people that worked at Spearmint Rhino formed their own brand and called it Peppermint Hippo because they felt like they weren't being treated as well. So anyway, I don't know. I've never been to either of them, but now I can say I know two strippers or former strippers from from Spearmint Rhino, sorry. And it's through this lovely connection of mine that I know that Mercury is in retrograde. So, hey, you know what I mean? The cool things, the perks of knowing strippers. Am I right, guys? Mercury is in retro fucking grade. And apparently weird things happen when Mercury is in retrograde. It's astrology, which apparently ties into astronomy because it has to do with the planets and where they are in alignment. But anyway, I don't really put stock into that stuff, but my sister does. She's obsessed, and anytime I tell my sister anything about a woman, the first question she has is what's her birthday, and then she runs a fucking background check on her birth chart. Not a legal background check like some people do, but a birth chart thing to see our compatibility and all these things. So anyway, I wanted to let you guys know that Mercury is in retrograde in case you give a fuck. And it's the Lunar New Year. The New Year, it's the year of the horse. We already talked about horse cocks. And, happy Lunar New Year, I guess. I can't help but think of that Sherry O'Terry skit from Saturday Night Live when she sings the song. She's like, I need a man who's hung like a horse. Like, that was Sherry O'Terry, guys. Give a shout out to her, you know. I thought that was a good sketch. Look up the hung like a horse sketch with Sherry O'Terry. She's a good one. I like her. She's got pizzazz. She's spicy, and she's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know what she looks like now, but I kind of, you know, I was feeling her. I was kind of feeling her style back in the day, you know. So anyway, that's that. Mardi Gras is over. Valentine's Day. So Mardi Gras is huge in St. Louis, and I drive for Uber on the side, not to drop too many panties too quickly, by the way, but I do a side hustle with Uber sometimes, and it's really neat because I get more followers. In fact, some of you are probably tuning into this podcast right now that may have been Uber passengers, so I wanted to give you guys a lovely shout out. Appreciate you, especially if you tipped me, and especially if you followed me, you know. Like, comment, subscribe, and tip. Send me money, send me nudes. Don't be a Jew, don't be a prude. Anywho, yeah. I made some good money on Mardi Gras here in STL. It was cold and rainy. Definitely not a good recipe for walking around in downtown Soulard. It's the second biggest Mardi Gras in the country, behind none other than New Orleans. Where I've actually never been, and I need to go and do comedy. I think Shia LaBeouf got arrested. Did Shia LaBeouf get arrested in New Orleans? I think he did, and I saw a headline today that he's homophobic and he's afraid, like, the day that he got arrested, apparently 3 dudes touched his thigh and it made him act out. So I thought that was funny. I guess that's a justification for being nervous around I can see how that can create like a traumatic reflex when it's an unwarranted touch from anyone, regardless of, you know, like, anyway, what I'm saying, I don't want to dig myself into a hole here by coming off the wrong way. My brother's gay, so I'm granted immunity. All I'm saying is, if someone has a bad experience or multiple bad experiences, I could see how they could form the wrong, association, if that makes sense. Maybe three gay dudes gave gay people a bad name when they touched Shia LaBeouf's leg, is what I'm trying to say. They don't represent all gay people, but he might have possibly created an unfortunate association, and I'm trying really hard right now not to correlate this to racism, because that would not be appropriate, and I am here to eradicate racism, but perhaps by shedding light on certain things, perhaps that is how you eradicate it, is by addressing things or reflections as they are, or as they appear to be, and trying to be truthful in things. So Shia LaBeouf, maybe his example is helping us eradicate prejudice as a whole by shining a light on it. Sometimes it's really ugly, the things that we see when we shine a light on something, but you can't address the garbage in the attic unless you look up there, right? A lot of people are afraid to look in the attic, but when you shine a light on a mess in the attic, that's how you start cleaning it up. That's how you start cleaning it up, both metaphorically and literally. Am I right, guys? Let's go ahead and address things that we're afraid of. Sometimes the shadow that is cast by the fear is actually much scarier than the reality. The creatures that are the scariest are oftentimes the most scared. I don't know where I'm not drawing an association with that. I'm just thinking about a lesson I learned from a cartoon, right? So when kids have bad dreams and they're afraid of sharks or something, you know, sharks are actually more afraid of people than people are afraid of sharks. Supposedly. They close their eyes when they go in for a bite, you know, to protect their eyes, which is soft ass shit. Because like in football, you're soft if you close your eyes at the moment of impact. That's part of like football. What's the word? Fucking like part of the toughness where teammates respect each other. Like, if a dude closes his eyes all the time before impact, people are going to call him a fucking pussy. So sharks are pussies is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, and they're also animals to be respected at the same time. Just because they're pussies. All right? Jeez. All right? My goodness. Anywho. All right. Yeah. Did you guys celebrate Valentine's Day? Valentine's has come and gone. I see. It's been a while since I've done an episode, so I know some of this is old news, and forgive me, I'll try to gloss through and just hit the highlights. If you were single and you celebrated Galentine's Day, happy belated Galentine's Day to you. I was single this year, so I fucking hated it. But, you know, that's how that goes. Hey-o. But I did want to give a special Cupid shout-out to my parents they created me on Valentine's Day 40 years ago. It was their 40th wedding anniversary. They got married at a glass chapel in the rain at night, and I was out driving for Uber all day on the date of my conception 40 years ago. Damn, that makes me sound so fucking old, but I guess I just got to deal with it. I'm not 40 yet on paper, but we're approaching because I was conceived 40 years ago. So 9 months from now, I'll be fucking 40. Oh my gosh. My fucking goodness. Always knew I'd be in a board of directors room sitting at the head of the table or sitting wherever the fuck I wanted by the age of 40. And that is true. There's just no other people sitting in here, but you do have to pay a lot of money to fucking even have access to this spot. So you know how that goes. What did I want to say? My parents celebrated happy anniversary to them. I was riding around in my Tesla, which has a roof of glass, and it was raining all day on Valentine's Day. So that's a good omen. 40 years later, I got to experience a lot of rain on my glass. That is not a sexual statement. It's a literal statement. And there were some girls that I had in my car, and I told them I'm the true Cupid because I am, and I gave them some real advice. And it's not romantic, and oh my gosh, that's a Hallmark card. Are you guys ready for the romantic, the true advice, Cupid's true advice? One girl got kind of mad, but the rest of them appreciated it because I was giving it to her straight. I said that all dudes are trying to fuck. That's how we're wired. Guys are designed by nature, whether anyone wants to admit it or not, to spread our seed. And women want nurturers naturally, someone that will be there and will stick around when a child is born. So we're both wired differently, and the intersection point is where, that's where kind of like the love thing can happen, or a relationship or things like that. Two people that are equal enough in the same playing field, and or the timing works out to where it sticks like an egg that gets ovulated. So I said, as long as you know that dudes are all trying to fuck, and dudes are not, generally speaking, looking for a relationship, even if they say they are, don't scare them away. There's too many women that are like saying, I am looking for love, I'm looking for the one on these dating apps. And yeah, maybe that can work once in a blue moon, but I'm telling you, you don't need to reveal your cards that soon. I know that sounds like terrible advice, and men are going to hear me and be mad, but just play it cool. If you play it cool, you have a better chance of that egg getting fertilized. Anyway, that's my fucking advice. It's like a dude playing it cool on getting laid too. It's like the inverse of each other. Dudes trying to get laid are like women trying to find a husband. It's like that intersection point. If both parties play it cool, you have the center of the Venn diagram gets bigger, right? And that's the part where there's the overlap, right? There's a whiteboard in here, and I can draw a Venn diagram for you guys if you want to. And I probably should, actually. Anyway, did you guys watch the Olympics? They came and went pretty fast. Hey-o, let's give it up for the people that did good. Here's a fucking boring-ass recap of the Olympics. Are you ready? Hey, did you guys watch the Olympics? Oh, yeah, I saw some stuff like skiing and skating, and it was fun. And there was like some pretty girls. I couldn't tell if they were Asian or not. But like, wow, like so cool, right? And there was like one dude that like kind of was gay, but I don't even know if he was gay. He just kind of like was very flamboyant. I was intrigued, you know what I mean? And then like, you know, like there was one guy who was getting interviewed about snowboarding, and then he like commented on the girls and he called them chicks, and it was so weird, but it was like, wow, that's something I would say. And then like the men's and women's team won hockey, and that was it. So it seemed cool. It was in Italy, and you know, what a neat time. Did you guys? I'm sorry if I wasn't paying enough attention to like give a better recap than that, so I apologize. But you know, I thought that I thought people were upset that what's his face, the dude that's leading the FBI, went over on taxpayers' dollars to party with the men's team, and then something was said, kind of like degrading the women's hockey team, the U.S. hockey team, one of the politicians, and then it caused them to reject Trump's invitation to the White House. The men's team went. So in a way, the women's team has bigger balls than the men's team. Am I right? No, I feel like the men's team kind of had to go since nothing disrespectful was said. But that was hilarious that the women's team rejected the invitation and said, we're booked. Wow, that was fucking awesome. Is it weird that gave me a boner? That was hot. That was fucking hot of the women's hockey team to reject that rejected Trump's invitation in the classiest way possible. It was like the most polite and etiquette way of saying fuck you. So fuck yeah for the women's hockey team. I'm gonna give the women's hockey team a round of applause. That was hot. That was sexy. I'm not gonna lie. It was fucking sexy. Anyway, yeah, so speaking of snowboarding, I need to go to Colorado. Oh, I booked a trip today. I'm going to Colorado in 3 weeks for a couple days. I'm gonna do some snowboarding, and I'm gonna try to put on a show or two, one in Denver, one up in the mountains, to try to make some of my money back for fucking going out there. But either way, I'm jazzed, and if anyone wants to meet me in Colorado, let me know. I'm going March 23rd through 26th. I'll probably go to Breckenridge. I've already secured my plane ticket and my rental vehicle. And I'm going to bring my snowboard. And I got a all-wheel drive, and it's a tiny, non-sexy SUV. And I don't like the color of it that I saw online. I think it was a blue color, because blue is fucking the least sexy color in the mountains as you can possibly have. So last time I was in Tahoe, I got a blue tiny SUV. Go figure. Am I right? You guys probably saw that video on YouTube that I put. It was a Tahoe vlog. Feel free to check it out. No pressure. All right. I've been working out. I'm at Lifetime Fitness. I'm probably going to go work out after this. And I've been trying to keep my thighs taut so I'm ready to go snowboarding. And I matched with some Colorado chicks when I was flying from LA like a month ago. I was flying back from LA and I stopped in Colorado, and I swiped right while I was at the Denver airport, and I got some chicks that have been responding to me. And I may or may not have a free place to stay. We'll see. We'll see. I actually haven't even let any of them know. I forgot about this. So when it comes to the logistics, this is what I do, guys. I fly around the country, I match with chicks, and then I just get a free place to stay because I'm fucking cheap. I can afford it. But you know what? Why not increase the chances of having some intercourse with some strange while you're traveling around the country like a fucking 40-year-old fuckboy, you know? I'm not 40, but you know what I mean, right? You get, I'm not 40 yet. So, anywho, and I'll be a fuckboy for as long as you can be a fuckboy forever if you want. I did have a professor in college tell me that I can't be a playboy forever, and guess what? Carmen Menezes? Still fucking a playboy, bruh. I'm still a playboy. I've never fucked a playboy, but I'm still a fucking playboy. We gotta get the arrangement of the letters in that sentence in a proper format so that it means the right thing, because we wouldn't want to scare Shia LaBeouf away. Am I right? All right. Anywho, hopefully nobody outside of this room can hear me talking. That would be fucked up if everyone, they might kick me out of Lifetime Fitness if they could hear some of these opinions. Anyway, or maybe they are fucking laugh their asses off. I really don't fucking know, but I do know that my friend Chris James is one of the models at all the Lifetime Fitnesses that I've seen. So shout out to Chris James in New York. He's an older black man from the UK, so his accent throws you off when you hear it. It's hilarious. He's already funny that way. He has like some good Harry Potter jokes. In fact, he was one of the voices in the Harry Potter video game, which is cool as shit, by the way. So shout out to Chris James, one of the people who's helped my comedy career a gigantic amount during my time in New York. I freaking love Chris. He's a great dude, and he's very funny. So I recommend checking out his stuff. He's great. You got to see him live. All right. Anyway, I need to work out my fucking thighs. All right. Super Bowl, heinous, Trump and Bad Bunny. I covered that. Stock market. There was a glitch in my portfolio. I don't know if you guys saw this, but when the Supreme Court, like 2 weeks ago, made a ruling on Friday that Trump's tariffs were unconstitutional, my portfolio went up by like 5% that day, which is not a normal stock market fluctuation. And I was like, this has to be because of the tariffs. I don't know why it fucking happened or how, but it went up 5%, which gave me a huge boner. And then, damn it, these motherfuckers, it was a glitch in the system. So, you know, I had to eat my words on celebrating that one. So I retract my celebration. It still went up. It just didn't go up like 5%. I think it went up like 1%, which is still good. But, you know, in like a few hours. But whatever. Who gives a flying fuck? Reminds me of that Wall Street movie with Michael Douglas. I remember the first time I saw that money is not like a stagnant number. It's a fluctuating number. And I remember finding that so weird that like when you own stock and you have that as the majority of your portfolio or even part of it, it's not a stagnant number. It's in constant fluctuation, like a weight on a scale, which I'm used to because I used to weigh in every day in football. And you always want to make sure you weigh. You don't want to be losing a bunch of weight when the coaches are watching. You know what I mean? So you got to keep that fucking net worth high and growing as long as you're not like growing where it's all body fat. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, I had a note here, turn off podcast if you're MAGA and restart it in a bit, but I think I kind of already talked about politics. So that note is like, we can disregard that note. So MAGA, you can stay tuned in. I talked about President's Day and Kanye and, on President's Day, I listened to a bunch of Bad Bunny, so that was fun. How about that old Lion King? I mean, this is old news now, you know what I mean? Like, the Iran thing really distracts us from the chaos of the past. But just to bring it back to your fucking attention, the Lion King, the video that Trump posted with Obama and Michelle as primates or monkeys was... You know, I know it's old news, but that did happen, though. It doesn't just go away. And it was the most ignorant fucking post and unpresidential thing you've ever heard. I had one of my friends who is like a lifelong Republican, literally was part of the Young Republican group at Georgetown and this person got their MBA from Georgetown. And this person called me and apologized to me for voting for Trump, which it made me laugh because it's like, I mean, it's water under the bridge, but I think the apology came from the fact that I've been shouting for years, please don't do this, do not vote for Trump. And sure enough, you know, people, they're not going to change their political opinions, but this person finally realized that this is not what they voted for. The person that he I guess is, or his true colors, whatever you want to call it. And I know not everyone is coming to that realization, and some people never will, no matter what. but it was nice to, I don't need validation, but it was nice that someone, kind of was able to look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, I made a mistake and I'm owning up to it, So that was unexpectedly cool. And, I encourage more people to look in the mirror and evaluate the clusterfuck of what's going on. I mean, I'm sorry, but this whole Epstein thing, I think I saw somewhere, you can fact check me on this, but I think somewhere there was an email where Jeffrey Epstein said that Trump is the worst. He's known him, he was like his best friend for 10 years, and he's the worst of us, and he's very dangerous. So, I know that's like the tea kettle calling the pot black. I forget that phrase, but how credible is his opinion? I don't know. But either way, it seems like something to not pay attention to. And I don't know, maybe his polls being at an all-time low for Prezi and the whole government shutdown, and, I don't know, maybe it was time to strike Iran. I don't fucking know. Maybe it's time for a reboot, right? Maybe it's time to, make people forget everything going on and, do something big. Kind of like when Adam Sandler in Big Daddy goes and adopts a kid, it's like, hey, I wanted to do something big with my life, Vanessa. You remember that when that hot chick is banging the old man behind his back and he goes and adopts a kid? That's kind of like maybe what Trump's doing with Iran right now. He's trying to do something big with his life. But what's going on with FEMA? FEMA was part of the shutdowns. I don't even know what this note is, but I know that TSA PreCheck and Global Entry were down for a little bit, so I don't know if that is still going on, but that makes my dick go into my pelvis and retract and get small, so that's never good. Hopefully it's back on by the time I go to Colorado, because I'm selfish. By the way, if you voted for the person you voted for so that you pay less taxes and no other reason, then you know what? You're a selfish fuck. And that message was brought to you by Michael Oldroyd. Anyway, I already talked about the lowest approval rating ever, yet he thinks he's the greatest ever. So, hey-o, you know what I mean? Hey, since he says the greatest ever, then it must be true, am I right? So I talked about my friend apologizing for voting for Mr. T, we'll call him. Even though they do not have the same pigment in skin. I don't know if you guys have seen Rocky 3. That's a different Mr. T. Anyway, Stephen Colbert restricted by legal contracts, etc. with parent companies. How cool my point is, how cool is it that I'm independently owned and I can say whatever the fuck I want? That's pretty neat, right? Is there next subject? Is there something called the Board of Peace? I'd like to look further into that. I'm going to put a question mark there and a follow-up that I'll never do. And maybe I will just to go against my own word. Let's put that as a bullet point, and maybe we'll circle back next episode, and maybe we'll never look at it again, because you know what? It truly doesn't fucking matter, and this episode is way too long already. Did you guys watch the State of the Union? Did you have any thoughts? I think the only thing that I actually heard during the whole speech was when he said, "This should be my third term." And of course, his party laughed, because that's the only fucking thing you can do when somebody says blasphemy like that. He is a comedian. He is a tremendous comedian, I will say. And of course, everyone is going to play that off like a joke, but I think he was dead serious. I don't think that was a joke coming from him. I think he thinks that this should be his third term. And, you know, sometimes there's truth in jest. As a comedian, I can say there's oftentimes truth in jest. It's not always the truth. It can be. And sometimes the mystery of whether or not it's the truth is part of the humor, whether it's true or not. Or at least that's my own subjective opinion on it. Anywho, did you guys see that Hillary was being questioned recently about the Epstein files? There's something there. Hey-o, anything else? I talked about the stock market glitch in my portfolio and how it reminds me of Michael Douglas. Okay, great. We've talked about that. Is there anything else to talk about regarding what's going on in the world? I don't think so. I don't think there is, guys. And I think we've beat the fuck out of it. We beat the horse to death because it's the year of the horse. And Duncan loves horses and the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and that whole thing gave me a boner. And my brother gave me the book, and it's a hardcover, and I'm very excited. And I think it's the best show I've seen in a long time. And Duncan reminds me of myself as a walk-on at the University of Missouri. And sometimes the glory is bigger than the banners and the titles and everything that you get. And as you can see, there's no way for me to prove to you that I ran the times that I did, but you can ask my teammates if they know. I know that wherever they have it documented, if it hasn't been deleted, it's up there. I have documents showing it. We could ask the coaches. I'm sure they don't remember. But it's just like Duncan in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Some things are true, whether you believe it or not. I wouldn't lie about that thing. I'd put my hand on a Bible and say, my recollection is this, with all my heart. But it doesn't matter, right? Duncan doesn't, I didn't go to the NFL, and I'm riding away with my horse and my squire, and that's all I need. That sounds so fucking wrong. Yeah, I don't need a squire, by the way. I'm not part of the Epstein. That came off the wrong way. Okay. Let's go ahead and retract that last statement. But metaphorically speaking, it's a Night of the Seven Kingdoms reference. I think I told you guys that one time I used to work so hard that early in my time at Mizzou, one time 2 guys picked me up and threw me into the fence, and the coaches let them, and they said, stop working so hard. Two guys in the football team. So you get the shit kicked out of you, and if you stick it out and work your ass off hard enough, eventually the tides turn and people start rooting for you, and the defense started rooting for me. So when I'd be going against the first string defense, the guys on the sideline of the defense would be rooting for me. Not the guys that are on the field. They're not giving me a free pass, no pun intended. But it was just pretty cool to know that they gave a fuck. There was honor in it. There was honor, and I think that's all that matters. And I think that's a good place to end this segment. Let's talk about something a little lighter, a.k.a. the comedy world. Yay!
Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude and interrupt, but are you ready for the segment known as What is Going On in the Comedy World?
Oh my gosh. Another beat?
Yeah.
What is this? This is so exciting. I don't even know what is happening in the comedy world, so please entertain me. Talk to me. Tell me. What the fuck is going on in the comedy world?
Talk to me, tell me, talk to me, Michael. Entertain me, I'm listening, I'm ready for you to tell me. I want to learn, I want to know, I want to know now. Tell me, Michael, tell me, talk dirty to me.
Alright guys, I'll be honest with you. I don't fucking know what's going on in the comedy world right now. I watched one sketch from Saturday Night Live. Sunday morning I watched the previous night's cold open because I was curious. It was James Austin Johnson playing Trump, delivering the speech about us striking Iran. So I thought that was funny. And then of course Colin Jost played Pete. What is it? It's Hog's Breath. Pete Hegseth. I apologize. No, I don't have a problem with Pete. I mean, Pete seems like a decently likable guy. As much as that may go against like some of my political opinions, but as a man, like I feel like Pete seems like the type of dude that I would enjoy smoking a cigar with and golfing with. Not about politics, but I don't hate Pete Hegseth. I don't hate anybody. I don't agree. Well, the Iran thing is, I've already talked about that, so I'm not talking about that. The Venezuelan boats thing was odd as fuck to me, and I don't think that you should just be killing like people and blowing them out of the water like that. But I guess aside from the fact that he's a murderer, that doesn't even fucking. I think, yeah, I don't. He just. There's something about Pete Hegseth. What if I just like went full on gay? And I'm like, you know what? There's something about Pete Hegseth that just makes me question my sexuality. Now that's definitely not where I was going. He just seems like a cool bro to smoke a cigar with and drink some scotch with and hit some golf balls. He seems like he's probably got some stories. He's kind of like the likable villain. I don't know what it is about him, but I don't like. I'll tell you who I loathe. I loathe Vivek Ramaswamy. I loathe that guy. Like, I really loathe Vivek. And I love Indian people. That's the crazy thing. Like, you got to be a really shitty Indian person for me not to like you, because I'm reverse prejudiced. I'm positively prejudiced toward Indian people. I love Indian people. So, like, for me to just loathe an Indian, you really got to be, like, the bottom of the barrel. I loathe Vivek Ramaswamy. I feel like Vivek... I'm sorry, I'm not talking about... See, the fucking Saturday Night Live got me talking about politics again. I just wanted to say, Vivek, when he finally surrendered, during the primaries, he bent over for Trump after, like, trying to run, and... it was like so funny to metaphorically watch him pull his pants down, bend over, offer his asshole to Trump, and then Trump just kind of didn't even take the bait, and he just kind of ignored him, and then Vivek just kind of like looked around and wondered, you gonna do it, Trump, or what? And then Trump didn't, and then Vivek's just standing there with his pants around his ankles, embarrassed, and then eventually pulled his pants up and just kind of like tried to casually walk away. So that's my analysis of Vivek Ramaswamy, a.k.a. the Trump 2.0 wannabe that surrendered to Trump. And, yeah, I don't know. It's Vivek, guys. Fucking Vivek. Anyway, what's going on in the comedy world? Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who gives a flying fuck? There was big news at an award show in the UK. There was a racial slur that was used by a guy with Tourette's. I think, I don't know, Michael B. Jordan was with him. All I can say is if the guy who said that had white skin, he might not be alive anymore. And Tourette's is, I don't know, I think I've had a Tourette's person in the audience during at least one of my shows, and it's a very challenging thing to deal with. But maybe they should have vetted that guy. When the government wanted to vet how we figured out our halftime talent, I think the government needs to fucking vet whether or not you're having someone with Tourette's during an award show. But that was in the UK, so that's not here. But anyway, what else is going on in the comedy world? We got some people coming to St. Louis that's pretty cool. We got Dusty Slay coming to the Factory, and Adam Ray are coming. And I think I just saw that Jim Brewer is coming. So I actually reached out to Dusty and Adam, seeing if I could open for them when they're here, and I'm going to do the same for, Jim Brewer. The Factory seats like 3,000, and I don't feel comfortable trying to rent out the Factory and putting on a show in St. Louis, because I feel like that's, trying to fill 3,000 seats. I'm still working up to that a little bit, but, I don't know. What else is going on? St. Louis has the Phantom of the Opera that just ended yesterday. That was in St. Louis traveling through. I kind of wanted to go, but I've seen it so many times. And I am the Phantom of the Opera, so, just a heartbroken, exterior asshole, deep down lover who fucking is in the shadows of the fucking theater, So there's that. The Phantom of Valentine's Day. I met some people in one of my Uber rides that are cast members in the Phantom of the Opera, which was really neat and fun. And Harry Potter's coming to St. Louis. And I know that none of this is comedy, and I apologize for that. This is more entertainment, but I'm excited about Harry Potter coming to the Lou. And is it weird that I just want the weather to get warm in St. Louis so I can go to Forest Park and go to the art museum or whatever? Gah, no homo. Does this mean I'm aging? That I don't want to drink I'm reading a thing right now, so I apologize. I just messed it up. Does it mean I'm aging no homo that I want to drink some tea and look at Monet whilst listening to Franz Schubert? I did a good job of reading right there. That was acting, because usually when I do that voice, it's like not rehearsed or planned. It's just like an expression. So I'm very jazzed at myself for doing that. So making it seem so off the cuff, the way Louis C.K. makes his stand-up seem off the cuff. Gosh, I'd like to give it up for me. All right, what else is going on? John Grimes is doing another show in St. Louis, the 314 show here on 314 at the City Winery, which is in, not the Armory, but the Foundry, which I'm going to go support him. I'm excited to see that. John's been opening for Chris Rock's brother, Tony Rock, for years now. John's been traveling all over the country for as one of the openers for Tony. I got to meet Tony through John, at least actually a couple times, and I'm really happy for John. He's been a guest on this podcast. We'll have him on in the future again. So yeah, come check out John at here at the 314 show. I'll be there hanging out, and yeah. Is there anything else going on in the comedy world? I talked about Saturday Night Live. Hey, there's people doing comedy, all over the world. Some of it on TV, some on social media, some live, some all three. Who gives a flying fuck? You can find it. You don't need my analysis. Anywho, let's talk about what's going on in my comedy world. Yay!
Hello? Are we doing this again? I thought you just talked about what's going on in the comedy world. My comedy world. Sorry, I didn't know that what's going on in your comedy world is like more important.
It's not.
Oh, it's not? Oh, that's why you put it third. Okay, I apologize.
Bukkake?
Well, let's listen. Let's listen to what's going on in Michael's comedy world, you freaking narcissist. Okay, what is going on in Michael's comedy world? Michael's comedy world. Michael's comedy world.
All right, so what's going on in my comedy world? Well, I just heard back from one of my agents that I might be doing some shows on a cruise ship or cruise ships in the next 2 weeks. So for like 6 days. So that's one thing. TBD on that, but that's good news. I also have a pop-up. I did a pop-up show in St. Louis in Central West End the other day at a coffee shop. One of my friends knows the owner, and she's been helping me with comedy a little bit, and wanted to do something unique for some content. So the owner was really cool. Shout out to him at Northwest Coffee Company. It might be Northeast. I'm sorry, Northeast or Northwest. Anyway, it's a really cool spot. Did some coffee. Got a really cool vibe in there with like a lot of botany and just like some natural stuff. Really cool owner who like appreciates the arts. I see that they do like musical stuff there too, and like even like a little house music vibes that they had like a DJ in there recently. But that was a lot of fun. It was a good surprise, an impromptu pop-up, deal where people didn't know there was going to be a comedian stopping by. So it was super random and unique, and that was like fun. We got a little, like I said, little content, little buzz, little pizzazz. Kind of a cool little something different, and looking at maybe putting on a show in St. Louis in the next month or so, maybe at the end of March. I'm taking a look at a few venues right now that I'm considering, and you guys will know most likely if there is going to be a show coming up here in St. Louis. And I did update my website now, so I'm trying to use this as the central location for my email list, so if no matter where you live in the city, no matter where you live in the world or the country, right, go to my email list, go to my website, michaeloldroyd.com, spelled the same way as it is in the podcast. So www.michaeloldroyd.com. If you go to the homepage and you just scroll to the bottom, you'll see that there is an opportunity to join my email list. It's where you put your name, your city, and your email in. That is how I will aggregate the information, and I will notify anybody that becomes a subscriber through that mechanism. They will be notified when I'm performing in your city. So no matter what city you live in, there's too many people that ask me now to let them know next time I'm performing in their city. I'm sorry, I can't keep track of it, especially having played football for as long as I do. So I need to automate that type of thing. And if you think to yourself, Mike, come on, man, we're better friends than that. Just let me know when I'm in town. I'm going to say to you, you would think that. But my bestest of friends, even family, there's so much information flowing into and out of my mind over the course of days, weeks, months, and years that I almost shut it off. So do not take it personal. Just go to my website and put your information in there so that I can automate it, so that I don't have to think, because it's too much for me. And that's a good thing. That means enough people are asking me now where my brain just shuts off now. When I hear somebody tell me, let me know the next time, for the last couple years, when I hear that, my brain actually shuts off because it's too overwhelming. So go to michaeloldroyd.com, subscribe to my email list, put your city in there. And if you're outside of the United States, say city and put a comma and your country. I mean, I've got 89 countries who have listened in now. Let's get her going. I want to go to India this year to do comedy, no joke. So let's fucking do this. I might even fucking go to Europe and do a little bit of tour there. A tour all over India, maybe a little thing in Europe, but we'll do one at a time. I'll probably go to either Europe or India when it's safe to travel. I'm a little nervous to travel right now with the Iranian strike, so hopefully this cruise ship thing is not anywhere near there. Let's hope it's not a Middle East let's hope it's not fucking just I don't know. Anyway, I got a weekend of shows in Tahoe coming up, which I'm really excited that I'm headlining. I shouldn't even say that I'm headlining because that's a given. I'm a headliner. Those are the types of shows that I do. So yeah, that's like showing up to a fight and be like, by the way, I'm a black belt. It's like, yeah, we already knew. Anyway, I may move to LA for a little bit to take care of some family and to get into SAG, or to try to get into SAG. I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, but I would go for a couple months with that intention. Just do a bunch of background work until I get in. But who knows? I'd like to go to New York if I can instead too, because I feel like it's easier for me in New York. I don't know what I'm going to do yet with that, but I definitely want to go to New York in the spring. And I am looking at my calendar to put more dates at cities around the country. So I've been working on that. Delaware, apparently I've got a decent following there. So I'm working on a venue there to do a one-nighter. I forget the name of the city. Forgive me. I've only been to Delaware like one time where I've hung out. I went to the Firefly Music Festival. I forget the name of the town where they had that, but it was really cool. It was like a music festival in the woods. Ellie Goulding was performing. Zed performed. Red Hot Chili Peppers were there. I forget other bands, but it was really fun. Anyway, that's what's going on right now in my comedy world. I'm trying to finish up so I can get a workout in. So let's move on to the next fucking segment.
Your world? Oh, what are you talking about? That's like so weird, and I don't know why my accent is changing over time. Who am I? Oh, This is... No, what type of instrument is that?
Bukkake!
That's fun. You're fun. We're fun. Michael, let's hear about you. Oh my gosh, how do you do? I am so excited to be here with you. Let us do this one last segment all for you.
Alright, was there anything I missed that's going on in the comedy world? In my comedy world? I don't think so. That nothing important. I mean, I'm always working on content. Yeah, my YouTube channel. I've been putting out more content on that lately. Obviously, this podcast I'm going to try to put up there. Check it out at the Michael Oldroyd. I really should know that, and I apologize to myself and to you guys. But just look it up and subscribe, like, comment, do the whole thing. Watch it all. Hey, why don't you just turn on your? If you really want to help me, go to my YouTube channel. Find the longest video and just turn. You can even turn the computer on silent and just let it play for an hour or hours, however long in the background. Just to get those watched hours. I need 4,000 watch hours to start monetizing, and I need a couple more 100 subscribers. So we're working on it. We're about halfway there. We're 5-something. So thank you if you guys do it, and let's cheat the system together. And I'll even give you a kickback. Why don't I just really get corrupt and just pay you? Why don't I just pay you some money to subscribe and watch my YouTube videos in the background so that I can get paid? And then it's just like a big rearrangement of money, and there's no integrity behind it. Anyway, what's going on in my world? I talked about my parents' 40th anniversary. My dad's birthday. He turned 80 on February 11th, and that was really special. We went out to dinner, and we had a really nice time. And I tried to make a funny post about him in his uniform, and he didn't like that very much. So just want to apologize to him for that one. If you saw it, my bad. It was just with the spirit of humor. I was trying to honor him by being funny, and I don't think he got the joke. So that wasn't good. But I'm not really going to go into that any further. I forgot on my previous podcast. I forgot to talk about sex monetization and this chick that I flew out to New York when I was living there. And I was going to say that some of these gals really know how to work it, I remember I flew her out. As soon as you start, buying stuff, they just want more, so you can't do that. I remember I flew her out, and she just used my apartment for, started, filming the fact that she was there. It was a super nice, spot in Financial District, and then she's I had gotten back from Europe, and I bought, a feather pen. And she's like, I really like this feather pen. I'm like, thanks. It's like, yeah, I really like it. And she it was like she was waiting for me to give it to her. It's no, that's my fucking feather pen. Who would have ever thought in 1,000 years that you would have kind of a power dynamic tug of war over a fucking quill? Who would have ever thought that it's I risked her not having sex with me by not giving her the feather pen. But I didn't do it. I held my ground. I fucking held my ground on the feather pen, and I just want to say I'm proud of myself for not fucking giving in to the power of pussy by giving her the feather pen. That's my fucking Shakespeare feather pen, that's my Shakespearean feather pen. And I'm not giving that up, no matter how hot you are. Just because you're a fucking bottle service girl with big, giant, fake double D tits that I would really love to marry. I want to marry the tits specifically. I'm not giving up my feather pen, though. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, my last thing that I'm going to say here on this week's episode is I had a really obese woman in an Uber not long ago who I think... so. She indirectly was trying to solicit sex work from me and try to get me to buy. So let's backwards. I picked this woman up from a Red Roof Inn downtown St. Louis, and when I saw her, I was nervous that she was going to be able to fit inside the door to get into my car, and I was even more nervous that her pants might not be able to be pulled up all the way, and her bare butt cheeks might be like smashed up against my leather seats. So I was concerned about that. She made it into the whip. I moved my front seat up so she could get in. She fit into the whip. She got in. I didn't know she was a prostitute at first, but then this is how it went down. We're driving to Central West End, and about halfway there, it's quiet. I really didn't want to small talk with her, but then she goes, "Where the money at around here?" And I said, "I beg your pardon?" She goes, "Where the money at? Like, where do rich people hang out?" I was like, "I don't know, Clayton, Missouri, the Ritz-Carlton, perhaps." She goes, "Yeah, because I'm a prostitute and I'm just trying to make some money. You feel?" I'm like, oh, okay, like, cool, yeah, so good luck. And she goes, "I was just with my first white boy the other day." Like, it's like, I don't need to know that. And I know that she's trying to, like, get close. It's like when someone's stepping close to the edge, you're like, hey, you're playing close to the edge and you might fall off. So, like, come back, get down off the fucking ledge. Don't say any more. Let's dead this topic. Let's end it. Because not only would I not pay you for sex, miss, but you couldn't pay me enough to have sex with you. So, like, you have the whole wrong, you got the whole switcheroo wrong here. And even if you paid me, like, I can't think of an amount of money that I would be like, yeah, all right, I'll take it, like, so the audacity or I don't know exactly what, like, is going through her mind where she thinks that I would ever either do it for free or for an amount of money. There's not enough money that I can think of that would excite me in the sack to mix it up with that chick. And I'm not fat shaming. I'm just saying I'm not attracted to this woman. So maybe I should have just said I'm not attracted to her so I seem like I'm not fat shaming. But anyway, that's my podcast for this week. So hopefully I get another couple countries tuning in. Hopefully everyone feels happy and satisfied with this fucking thing. I hope it feels like you took a nice, metaphorical dump and you got your fill. You got your Michael Oldroyd Comedy Podcast fill or nourishment, because I had a good time and I hope you guys did too. Thank you from Lifetime Fitness in Frontenac, Missouri. And if I tagged them in this, they would probably refute it. They would probably remove the tag to not be associated because it's so fucking edgy. All the shit that's come out of my mouth from this board of directors room, which I really appreciate the opportunity because I am CEO, bitch. All right. Anyway, God bless you all. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, what the heaven, bruh?
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. By the way, am I the only one who's horny?